ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामायं ददान्ति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुन् श्रीयुतापदकमलम् श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातम् सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं स्वावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shashwin, let's move on to text 45. We can start with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
हरे कृष्णा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। हरे कृष्णा। मरोद् स एष भगवान् द्रोण प्रजरूपेण वर्तते तस्यात्मनोरुत्तमपद्यास्ते नन्वगान् वीरसुहृपि।
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Would anybody like to read the translation and Bhagavad?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can read.
Okay, Prabhuji, kindly continue.
Translation. He, Dronacharya, is certainly still existing, being represented by his son. His wife, Kripi, did not undergo a sati with him because she had a son. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The wife of Dronacharya, Kripi, is the sister of Kripacharya, a devoted wife who is, according to revealed scripture, the better half of her husband, is justified in embracing voluntary death along with her husband if she is without issue. But in the case of the wife of Dronacharya, she did not undergo such a trial because she had her son, the representative of her husband. A widow is a widow only in name if there is a son of her husband existing. So in either case, Ashwatthama was the representative of Dronacharya, and therefore killing Ashwatthama would be like killing Dronacharya. That was the argument of Draupadi against the killing of Ashwatthama. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for reading the translation and purport. And thank you, Shashwin, for the Mangalacharan and the recital of the shlok. Prabhuji, we welcome you to this group. Thank you very much. And please accept our humble obeisances on behalf of everybody who have joined the group and are about to join, and those who would see this presentation online later on. So, Prabhuji, I hand over to you. We are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 1, Chapter 7, and the text for today is text 45. Chapter 7 is called The Son of Drona Punished. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you're muted. Prabhuji, you're muted.
Oh, there we are. Okay, Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangolam Gayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurudina Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Om Tat Sat. So, actually, the other day you gave me the text to start from was the text 46. So I haven't read this particular text myself. So if it's okay, we'll start from that one. We'll go on to the next one. But just reading this with you, we can kind of add this into the overall discussion. This is giving reasons why Draupadi is not willing to punish Ashwatthama. Yeah. So here is the first reason, because Kripi would then have nobody to take care of her. The wife of Dronacharya is Kripi, and if it were not for Ashwatthama, then she would have nobody to take care of her. Okay, so this is where the first reason is given. We'll discuss more as we go along. I'll move on to the next text, since this is the one that you'd asked me in your earlier messages. 1746. Yeah. Would you like me to read the Sanskrit, or would someone like to read? I can read Tadharma na Mahabhava Mahabhaga Bhavabi Gauravam Kulam Rijinam nar Ati Praptum Pujyam Vandyam Abhikshnaha. And the translation: O most fortunate one, who knows the principles of religion, it is not good for you to cause grief to glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipable. Short purport here. A slight insult for a respectable family is sufficient to invoke grief. Therefore, a cultured man should always be careful in dealing with worshipful family members. Okay. And I'll read the next few verses as well, as the purport here is short. Text 47. Marodedasya janani Gautami pati devata yatha ham mrita vatsata romi asru mukti muhko. Translation: My lord, do not make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me. I am aggrieved for the death of my sons. She need not cry constantly like me. Purport: Sympathetic, good lady as she was, Srimati Draupadi did not want to put the wife of Dronacharya in the same position of childlessness, both from the point of motherly feelings and from the respectable position held by the wife of Dronacharya. So the second reason is, so first is she didn't want to leave the Kripi without someone to take care of her, and the second reason is because there's a respectable family, which Dronacharya is coming in the line of, and his good wife Kripi, as well as his son Ashwatthama here, who is about to be punished. Next text is number 48. Yaikopitam Brahma Kulam Rajanyer Achitatmabi Tatkulam Prad Ayat Sasu Sanu Bandam Nam Surar Pitam. Translation. If the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense control, offends the Brahmana order and enrages them, then the fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon them all. So this is another reason now, which Draupadi is giving. She's saying, I'll read the purport first. The Brahmana order of society, or the spiritually advanced caste or community, and the members of such highly elevated families were always held in great esteem by the other subordinate castes, namely the administrative kingly order, the mercantile order, and the laborers. So another reason Draupadi is giving is that if the Brahmanas are offended, then it destroys the whole social structure. Yeah, it spoils the royal family, and then of course everyone who is protected by the royal family is also put into difficulty. And text 49. Sutta uvacha dharmyam nyayam sakarunam nirvyalikam saman mahat rajadharma sutoragna pratyananda vacho dvija. Translation. Sutta Goswami said, O Brahmanas, King Yudhishthira fully supported the statements of the Queen, which were in accordance with the principles of religion and were justified, glorious, full of mercy and equality, and without duplicity. So here's the verdict of King Yudhishthira. He's giving all these reasons why what Draupadi has spoken is the best. Purport. Maharaj Yudhishthira, who was the son of Dharmaraj or Yamaraj, fully supported the words of Queen Draupadi in asking Arjun to release Ashwatthama. One should not tolerate the humiliation of a member of a great family. Arjuna and his family were indebted to the family of Dronacharya because of Arjuna's learning the military science from him. If ingratitude were shown to such a benevolent family, it will not be at all justified from the moral standpoint. The wife of Dronacharya, who was the half-body of the great soul, must be treated with compassion, as she should not be put into grief because of her son's death. This is compassion. Such statements by Draupadi are without duplicity because action should be taken with full knowledge. The feelings of equality were there because Draupadi spoke out of her personal experience. A barren woman cannot understand the grief of a mother. Draupadi herself was a mother, and therefore her calculation of the depth of Kripi's grief was quite to the point. And it was glorious because she wanted to show proper respect to a great family. Yeah, so an additional point has been made here is that Draupadi is she's acting, where's the word here used? She's showing a sense of indebtedness because they were not only a very respectable family, the family of Dronacharya. It was not only out of compassion for his wife, Kripi, and it was not only because she didn't want her to be a widow the way that she's experienced being a widow, but also on top of that, another reason here is that because they actually know this family very well, this Brahminical family, they know them because they're indebted to them for all their education. Yeah, her 5 husbands all learned under this this one Dronacharya, their teacher. So out of gratitude as well is another reason that's given here, which is why Ashwatthama shouldn't be killed. Okay, so you can see Draupadi is giving many reasons for why Ashwatthama shouldn't be killed. He shouldn't. They shouldn't retaliate with him for killing her own sons. Yeah. Now I'll read text 50. Now the next couple of texts I think don't have any purport, but they fit within this part of the discussion, so I'll read them anyhow. So text 50. Nakulaha Sahadevascha Yudhano Dhananjayaha Bhagavan Devaki Putro Yechanyayas Chayoshita. Translation. Nakul and Sahadev, the younger brothers of the king, and also Satyaki, Arjuna, the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Devaki, and the ladies and others all unanimously agreed with the king. Okay. Then text 51. Tatra harm sito bhimas tasya shreyan vadas mrita na bhartur natmanas charte yohan suptan sishun vrata. Bhima, however, angrily disagreed with them and recommended killing this culprit who had murdered sleeping children for no purpose and for neither his nor his master's interest. So Bhima is on the other side of the spectrum here. Bhima, he's saying that no, kill this culprit, and then you have Draupadi, and you have other names are mentioned. So the other 4 brothers, yeah, well on the other side, and Lord Krishna as well, yeah. And Krishna, of course, asks then that that Arjuna, who was the one who went to catch Ashwatthama, he asks him to decide. Now you fulfill both sides of the requests. You do what your older brother Bhima is asking, and you also fulfill what your other family members are asking as well. So you kill him and also not kill him. Yes. So he's putting Arjuna in a perplexed situation. So let us maybe take a back track on this chapter a little bit, or let's take a backtrack into the history or the relationship between these 2 families, or even specifically the family of Draupadi and the family of Ashwatthama, who's her perpetrator. And then we can really bring out the glory, the real glory of what Draupadi is saying. How glorious actually is Draupadi? Because these verses, they show that they really show the true glory of Srimati Draupadi's heart. Yeah, what place she's coming from to be able to say such things. And then what it means for us. We'll discuss that also. So, I just like to start by actually saying one quote which I very much like by Srila Prabhupada about the Srimad Bhagavatam in general is Prabhupada says that this Srimad Bhagavatam, he says there's no need to study anything. There's no need to study anything. If you want to gain knowledge, you simply study Srimad Bhagavatam to get that knowledge. Very short and simple quote. I like it very much. You don't need to study anything else. If you only study Bhagavatam, you will learn everything there is to know. And it just particularly appealed to me in relation to these series of verses. Because in the Bhagavatam, of course, generally the Bhagavatam is accepted for the highest spiritual knowledge, isn't it? The pastimes of the Lord with his confidential devotees is detailed in the Srimad Bhagavatam pages. But we can learn so much. There's so much cultural knowledge in there. There's so many moral instructions in there. There's so many scenarios from the lives of great people and how they live, that we can develop role models from the Srimad Bhagavatam. There's everything there in the Srimad Bhagavatam for us. There is the science of the universe, of creation. There is a science of how the child is developed in the womb. So many sciences are there as well in the Bhagavatam. Yeah. There is an understanding of the previous ages, and even in the future what will happen. Past, present, and future is told in the Bhagavatam. So there's so much to learn, and it's always nice to remember that as well. So here there's a great cultural context, and the instructions which Draupadi is giving is in relation to that cultural understanding which she has, the values and the culture which she has been brought up with. And that's what's being brought out here. Because of course this same pastime happens in the Mahabharata, isn't it? We know that this is also from the Mahabharata. Yes? But what is the difference when there's a pastime in the Mahabharata and there's a pastime again is given in the Bhagavatam? Why is the need for giving the same pastime twice? Have you ever wondered? Or even the pastime of Lord Ramachandra is here in the Bhagavatam as well, isn't it? But it's also in the Ramayana there. The pastime of Brittasura, Indra defeating Brittasura, and that pastime is also in other Puranas. Why is it again repeated in the Bhagavatam?
Glorifying Lord's relation with the devotees.
Yes, that's definitely there. Yeah. For me, I was thinking it was, the Bhagavatam, it really brings out the nature of the Bhagavat. It really brings out the nature of the devotee. It really brings out the qualities of the devotee, which you won't find there in the Mahabharata. You won't find in the Ramayana. You won't find in the other Puranas. Huh? Like take Brittasura for example. Brittasura in other places, he's just only shown as being a demonic person. But in the Bhagavatam, he's like a glorious personality. He goes back home, back to Godhead in the Bhagavatam. It shows him from a very different perspective, different light. Yeah. Similarly, Srimati Draupadi, she is shown in the Mahabharata as being a very fiery lady, very powerful lady, empress of Hastinapur. Yeah, very powerful lady. Yeah, she's able to command her 5 husbands. Such a powerful lady, and she's like desired by all of the men in the kingdom. This is the kind of image you get from the Mahabharata. But here in the Bhagavatam, we see what is Draupadi's heart. What is her heart? What is it that endears Krishna to her so much? Her name is also Krishna. Her name is also Krishna with a long A, Krishna. Yeah, because she's very dear to Krishna. Krishna treats her like his own sister, like a sister. Because look at, we see from these good qualities which she has, she's so thoughtful. Actually, she's so thoughtful. Yeah. And we'll discuss this a little bit now then. Now, what is the qualities of Draupadi which are being brought out here? Well, let's go back a little bit in the history.
Prabhuji, can I say something, an observation, please? But in Bhagavatam, this is the part after Mahabharata, right? All these people have lost so much. Is it that they've got emotionally offended now and can't see any more bloodshed and pain as well?
Well, yeah, the Mahabharata, this is still part of the Mahabharata. This story is also in the Mahabharata. It's at the end of the war, but the Mahabharata continues way past that, actually. It doesn't finish with the war finishing. It carries on much further past that. The Mahabharata also gives the story of even up to the end of the lives of the Pandavas and Draupadi. So just carry on a little bit further. So just to give a brief recap of the history of these two families of Draupadi and Ashwatthama. You see, Ashwatthama is the son of Dronacharya. Now Dronacharya, he is the son of a very powerful rishi. His name is he was born from Bharadwaj. That's the name, Rishi Bharadwaj. Yeah. Rishi Bharadwaj is he's considered to be one of the seven main sages, seven Saptarishis. He's considered one of those. Excuse me. And Bharadwaj, he was in meditation. He was at the riverbank and in meditation, and he was disturbed, as many of these stories go, with rishis meditating by the river. He was disturbed by a beautiful Apsara lady from the heavenly planets. And so, on being disturbed, then he discharged his seed into a pot. And from that pot, then in time, Dronacharya was born. Okay? And therefore, the name Dron actually means pot. He's the Acharya who's born from a pot. So his birth was extraordinary. This is why he got this name. Yeah. So he is not even an ordinary human being, you can say. He's born of, one of the most powerful rishis, Bharadwaj. And in that, his birth was not even with a mother, ordinary mother. Yeah. It was like an immaculate conception birth. Then, so he's almost like a demigod, you can say, because of this. Then his father, this Bharadwaj, he was the school teacher of not only his own son, but also of King Drupad. King Drupad, he went to the school of Bharadwaj. He was obviously not a king at that time when he was small. He was just a prince, a young prince. And these two boys, they became friends, Dron and Draupad. And in their childhood play, then Draupad would say, when I grow up and I have my father's kingdom, I will give you half. He said, I'll give you half my kingdom because you're such a good friend of mine. And that's how children, they were talking. But when he grew up, when they both grew up, actually when Bharadwaj left this planet, then Dronacharya found himself in poverty, complete poverty. He didn't even have enough milk to feed his child, Ashwatthama. When Ashwatthama was born, there wasn't even milk for him to drink. He was so poor, he couldn't even have one cow. Couldn't even keep one cow. And you just imagine, he came from such a great line of family, yeah, such a great heritage. And so he went to his friend and he said, I don't have any way of feeding my son. And when we were children, you said that you would give me half your kingdom, isn't it? And we are still friends. So please, if you can give something to me, yeah. And King Draupad, he took offense at this. He said that was just childish talk. He said, why do you come and ask me for something now like this? On the basis that you know, we were friends as children, and I said I'll give you half a kingdom. Why do you have to bring that up? So it was a little arrogant, you could say. King Draupad was a little arrogant and refusing the request of Dronacharya. Yeah. So there's some details to that, and I won't go into all of that. But anyway, then Drona, he decides to take up the occupation of teaching. So he becomes Dronacharya. He becomes the teacher. And he teaches the royal family of the Kurus. He teaches the Kuru dynasty. His school is exclusively a military school for princes. And so he teaches the Kurus, and of course the Pandavas, who are also Kurus, because they all come in that same line of family. And then when the children have learned and they graduate, there's something known as the Guru Dakshin. So the Guru asks for charity from his students. So first he sends the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, headed by Duryodhana, to go and capture King Drupad. Yes, he said, I want King Drupad as my charity. So the 100 sons, they go into Panchal, the kingdom of Punjab, to catch King Drupad. But Drupad is extremely powerful king. He's one of the most powerful kings in the whole of Bharat. Yeah, Mahabharat is based on Bharat. So they're unable to defeat him. These 100 brothers, you know, been taught by the greatest the greatest military acharya, and they can't defeat Drupad. Yeah, because of their arrogance, actually. Because they were proud that they could do it, they lost. Then they came back feeling deflated. And then Dronacharya, he sent the Pandavas. He said, you 5 boys go, and I want as my Dakshin King Drupad. So they bring back King Drupad, these 5 Pandavas. Again, it is a very exciting story, and I'm skipping a lot of details. But they managed to catch, these 5 boys, they managed to catch one king, one great king, King Drupad. Yeah. And in catching King Drupad then, Dronacharya, he asks for this kingdom. He says, I want 50% of my kingdom from you. I've captured you. You should have given it as a charity to me. I'm anyways a Brahmana. You should anyways give charity to Brahmins. And on top of that, you made a promise to give it to me in your childhood. Never mind that. You should have given it to me because I was in poverty. I couldn't even feed my son, Ashwatthama. Yeah. So now I'm taking my 50% of the kingdom, and I'm going to give you your 50% back and let you go, because I don't care to hold you hostage as prisoner. Yeah? I simply wanted to teach you a lesson. So this is the history of the 2 families, of the family of Drupad and the family of Dronacharya. And of course, Dronacharya has the son Ashwatthama. Drupad, he then made a vow that I'm going to take revenge on King Drupad. So Drupad made a vow, I'm going to take revenge on Dronacharya. So then he did a yagya for a son. And from that yagya, the son was named Dristajumna. Yeah. And also, Draupadi was born from that fire also. Yeah. Draupadi, she was born from fire. She's not an ordinary lady. She was born from a fire. She manifested out of fire. And she's actually a partial incarnation of Lakshmi. You see? She's a partial incarnation of Lakshmi, of Sita, of Radharani, like that. Yeah. She's a Shakti of the Lord. She's a partial incarnation. Yeah. Just like we are familiar with the term Shakti Avesh Avatar. You know, the Lord has partial incarnations, like Narada Muni is a partial incarnation of the Lord. So also, Lakshmi also has partial incarnations like this. Excuse me. So this is the character of Draupadi, the inner character of Draupadi. That she has this quality of being like Mother Sita, like Srimati Radharani, Lakshmi Devi. And here she's really bringing out that quality of compassion in this particular area of the pastime. See, because Krishna actually, when this killing happened of her 5 children, in fact, not even this. Let's even go back a little bit further. But Ashwatthama, actually, no, let's go back to this one point. So in the battle of the Kurukshetra, then when Dronacharya was fighting, he was so powerful. No one could, fight against him because he was a Brahmana. He had Brahman tastes. He had extremely powerful personality. Yeah, he was Brahmana, but he was able to fight as well. So he was extremely powerful, and no one could defeat him. And so, even though Drishtadyumna, he was born to fight him. Yeah, he just wasn't getting the opportunity because they were keeping him away. So Krishna had to make a trick, a plan, to trick Dronacharya into backing down a little bit because he's so ferocious. So they made a plan that Bhima would kill an elephant named Ashwatthama. And when he killed the elephant, he said, "Ashwatthama is dead, Ashwatthama is dead." And Dronacharya continued fighting. Like, it doesn't matter what Bhima says. But when then Krishna asked Yudhishthira to verify that Ashwatthama was dead. And Yudhishthira said, "Ashwatthama, the elephant, is dead." And his chariots touched the ground at that point. Then Ashwatthama was shocked. He was so shocked, he got off his chariot and he sat down on the floor. There on the battlefield, he just stopped just there and then and sat down on the floor on the battlefield, ready to leave his body. He couldn't believe his son had been killed. Because Yudhishthira said it, he believed it. Yudhishthira was someone who'd never ever told a lie. He was not even someone who would speak in a conspicuous way. Yeah, that was the character of Yudhishthira Maharaj. So then he absolutely accepted it, and he sat down ready to leave his body. And then as he was in his meditation, leaving his body, then Drishtadyumna took his chance. The son of Draupadi, he was born for this purpose. He came with his sword and chopped off the head of Dronacharya. Yeah. So this is the history. And so Ashwatthama, he took revenge on this, that he killed Drishtadyumna in his sleep. Yeah. So Draupadi's own brother was killed in his sleep as well. So this is how Drishtadyumna, he died in his sleep. Even though Drishtadyumna, he killed Dronacharya was leaving his body anyway. He was sitting down to leave his body, and he killed him. He was anyways. He'd left his body, so he was basically killing a dead body. It was no different. So him coming there or not, he would have left the body. So it's explained like this. So it didn't matter whether he had done anything or not, because by his own will, Dronacharya was deciding to leave. But Ashwatthama, he took revenge anyway in this way. That's the first thing. Yeah, killing someone who is in the sleep. And then he did this again, isn't it? In this pastime we're reading now, he's done it again because he's gone and killed the 5 children now of Draupadi. Yeah, he's killed the 5 children of Draupadi. So each one of those 5 children, they're each the son of one of the Pandavas. Each Pandava had one child from Draupadi. So each one of those Pandavas' child was killed as well. Again in the sleep, and they were young children sleeping at night. Yeah. And so this is the character of Ashwatthama, the kind of person who kills so many people in their sleep. So he was well protected in the battle, and then towards the end of the battle, these are the ways in which he was behaving. Now, Draupadi, she's been, victim to all of this through her life. You can see, yeah, the way her father had behaved to Dronacharya, the way that her brother had behaved to Dronacharya. You can see the way that Ashwatthama had behaved to her children. Yeah, this creates a bit of a picture now around Draupadi. Yeah, and still in this scenario, we can see what is Draupadi's reaction, huh, to someone who is, the enemy of her father. How do you say, the purpose for her brother's birth was to kill this Dronacharya. Yeah. And so Ashwatthama, being the son of that same Dronacharya, what is Draupadi's mood towards him? She's full of compassion. Can you believe it? She's full of compassion. Huh? So what does this teach us about Draupadi's character? It's something extraordinary. It's so important. The way that it's unbelievable. It's actually so extraordinary. Very touching. How she's so much full of compassion. She's so much full of respect. That these are her gurus. She sees these personalities as her gurus. It was her father's enemy, but her husband's guru. So she has so much respect for Dronacharya. She has so much respect for Kripi, who is the husband of her family guru line. Yeah, and she doesn't want Kripi to go through what she's gone through. Yeah, he said that if someone has been pricked by a thorn, if a thorn goes into your foot and breaks off, and you're walking with that thorn, you know the pain, isn't it, of that you experience? Yeah. Now, if that happens to someone else, then you can empathize with that person also. One who has been pricked by a thorn will know the pain of another pricked by a thorn, isn't it? Yeah. So it's very easy to be empathetic to someone who has been through something, who is going through something which you have been through, isn't it? Yeah. So she's thinking in that way, that my 5 children have been killed. Now, if I ask for this person to be killed, then his mother is also going to feel the same how I'm feeling now. How will that make me look before her mother? How will I be able to stand before her mother, his mother? How will I be able to stand before Ashwatthama's mother, Kripi? How will I be able to stand before her, knowing that my own children have been killed and I've been the cause of her child's death? Because she's got no one to care for her. Then she'll have no one. She may as well go into the fire. She's got no reason to live, no one to care for her. So she's thinking in this way, with such compassion, such respect. Huh? Even though her own children have been killed, even though her own brother has been killed by this man in a malicious way, in a devious way. Even though he's unworthy as a Brahmin, actually. Still, so much respect. Yeah. So this is what Prabhupada calls as para dukkha dukhi. She feels the pain of another's pain to be more painful than her own pain. Yeah. She feels that that pain that Kripi will go through, that I'm already experiencing now, more than my own pain. Her 5 children have just been killed, and the enemy has been the perpetrator has been caught right there before her. But what is she feeling? No revenge, no vengeance. She's feeling the pain already of what Mother Kripi would go through already. Paradukha dukhi. She has this quality. So this is quality of the first class devotee. Yeah, paradukha dukhi. To feel pain at just the thought of someone else's pain. This is a greater pain than her children dying. Can you imagine? 5 sons and 1 brother. So, and of course, she has her 5 husbands to look after her. Yes, still. Whereas if Kripi had lost her son, she's also lost her husband already, then she would have nobody to look after her. So Draupadi is very intelligent. She's not just sentimental. She's super intelligent. Yeah, and therefore, Yudhishthir, and then Lord Krishna, and some others who are mentioned here. Nakula, Sahadev, Satyaki, and so on. They're all in agreement with Draupadi's choice of action. So this tells us something wonderful about the quality, the heart of Srimati Draupadi, isn't it? Now, of course, we just celebrated Sri Radhastami over the weekend, isn't it? Did everyone have a wonderful celebration? Yeah. So I can throw in a little bit of a pastime, if that's okay with your permission, because as we say, this Srimati Draupadi is the Amsa of none other than Lakshmi ji, Sita ji, Radharani. So we also see the same quality there in the pastimes of the Lord's consort. If we go back to the Ramayana, we find there's one episode where Sita is telling her dear husband, Lord Ram, my dear husband, this bow and arrow you're carrying everywhere through the forests is just causing you to commit violence. It's just the cause of your violence. Everywhere we go, you're continuously killing demons. When will you rest? When will you cease your killing habit? She's saying, can you not give up your killing? At least in my presence, you should not fight. Because she's very soft-hearted, Sita Devi. She's saying that, that because he's holding a bow and arrow, he simply just wants to fight. And she doesn't like this. She doesn't appreciate her husband is always in this fighting mood. And Lord Ram, he's trying to, explain to her that the sages, they've told me that I should go and kill these demons. I'm not doing it on my own volition. They've asked me that I shouldn't fight. I should fight and protect the hermitages. So I'm only just doing my duty. I'm not, going out looking for a fight. But she doesn't accept. She doesn't accept it. Because you're holding this bow is the cause of your violence. I wish that in your next incarnation you don't carry any weapon. Then I will come and assist you in your pastime. So this is Mother Sita. So then, of course, next Lord Ramchandra, he comes as Sri Krishna, isn't it? No weapons, he's playing a flute, isn't it? In Vrindavan, Krishna plays the flute. But still in Vrindavan, every day, as we know, there are demons coming every single day. Yeah, every day there are demons. And Krishna never picks up a bow, an arrow, isn't it? He's killing the demons with his bare hands, or just by some trick or another, Krishna. Whether it's dancing on the hood of Kaliya, or burning in the mouth of Agasura, and so on. In his various ways, Lord Krishna is defeating the demons in the Vrindavan Leela. So Srimati Radharani says, what is this? You told me that you wouldn't be killing any demons. And here I am living in Vrindavan as Vrindavaneshwari, and all you're doing every day, in, day out, is killing demons. Again, you cannot stop your demon killing habit. And Krishna says, what can I do? The dear Brajvasis are here. If I don't stop these demons, our cows will be poisoned by drinking the water of the Yamuna, or the cowherd boys will be defeated by this demon or that demon, Aristasura or some other demon. So I have no choice. I'm not calling the demons here. They're coming to fight, and I've given up my weapon. I said I will not carry a bow. I've given up my weapon. So Radharani is still displeased. So in the next avatar, then Radharani makes a different arrangement. This time, I don't trust you. I don't trust you as Lord Ram. I don't trust you as Lord Krishna. Huh? Now, when you come as Chaitanya Dev, I will personally just cover you. I'll personally just wrap myself around you. And therefore, he is known as Gauranga because he is now in this golden form. Huh? So he has no chance to even pick up a weapon because Radharani is stopping him. He has got the Bhava and the Sarup of Radharani. Huh? So you can see this is the compassion of Srimati Radharani, or the compassion of Sita Devi, of Mother Lakshmi. And this is why our Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is also the Karuna avatar, isn't it? He's the avatar of compassion. So here in this pastime, we're learning so much about the compassion of Mother Draupadi. Yeah. So does anyone have questions, comments? I'd like to hear. Ask Prabhu if there's anything I've said incorrect, please correct me.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Just a quick comment, just on the last point on Radharani's compassion. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the Radhakund and Shamkund also created because of Radharani's compassion, because she got angry with Krishna for killing a demon?
Was Radhakund and Shamkund created by Radharani?
No, not by Radharani, but the main cause of firstly the Radhakund being created was because Radharani got upset with Krishna for killing the cow demon, and so to please her. So even in Vrindavan we see yes that Radharani's compassion. Yeah, thank you very much. So which actually brings me to a question that, is to highlight Draupadi's compassion. And as you said, it's something new I learned today, that she's also a partial incarnation of Radharani and Sita Devi, Lakshmi Devi. So was it to actually highlight the compassion of Draupadi that this particular instance of Mahabharata is included in the Bhagavatam and not any other instances, because there are millions of instances in Mahabharata, but this is included in the Bhagavatam and not anything else?
So this pastime is in both places, as far as I'm aware. But the glory of the Bhagavatam is it brings out the special character of the devotee. It brings out the heart of the devotee, the nature of the devotee. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is what's being highlighted in this section of the Bhagavatam specifically.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
So even though the chapter is called "The Son of Drona Punished," yeah, actually what we're learning is he wasn't punished in the way that he was set out to be punished, because Arjuna he already said immediately. Then when they found out the 5 sons were dead, Arjuna immediately got up to say, "I'll bring you the head of Ashwatthama," So he said that, and whenever a Kshatriya says something, he has to do it, right? So he didn't come back with the head of Ashwatthama. He came back with him alive. So he didn't do what he said he was going to do, did he? So, if that had happened, then this story wouldn't be here, right? Because that's what actually Arjuna said. So he didn't keep his promise. Krishna told him to go and bring back the head. And then he didn't bring back the head, actually. He thought, well, that's what I wanted to do. But maybe Draupadi wants to do something else. So let me take Ashwatthama to Draupadi and let her decide. And so actually that's how it unfolded. Then when he came back, then he was like, oh, now I have to decide on this side that Bhima is saying and on this side Yudhishthira is saying. Should have just brought back the head. Right? We can see how Draupadi, she resolves everything nicely.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have one question. Who was Satyaki? Prabhuji, I might have missed this.
Yeah, I looked at that. In one description, it said that Satyaki is the brother of Draupadi. But there are many Satyakis actually in the past times. So I took it to mean that this particular one is the brother. Draupadi had many other brothers as well. Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure. His other name is Yuyudhana. So, yeah. So in the Sanskrit, the name is Yuyudhana. But then in the English, Prabhupada is translated as Satyaki. So I don't know if that helps.
Yes, oh, it helps. Thank you very much. Sandhya Mataji, you had a question? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kritaji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and all. Prabhuji, Draupadi, the wife of Lord Indra in the previous birth.
Are you asking, was she?
Yes, Prabhuji. Well, I thought she was because I remember seeing an episode on telly where Lord Indra was forcing himself on his wife, and his wife, of course, was Draupadi in the previous birth. Then she said to Lord Indra that I'm going to leave you now. So she kind of self-combusts her body and says that I will come back, and in the next birth, I'm going to show men that you can't abuse women like this. Or something, and then she takes birth as Draupadi from fire. So I'm a bit confused, Prabhuji, that what does partial incarnation mean, and how was Mata Lakshmi or Radharani, wife of Indra then? I got totally confused, Prabhuji. Sorry, Krishna.
Yeah, these things can get confusing if we try and bring in too many different elements, you see. So I tried to keep it a bit simple. I don't know 100% that story, the background, if Draupadi was Sachi Devi. Sachi Devi is the wife of Indra, because Arjuna is the son of Indra also. So that would be a little bit contradictory, I think. But as far as I remember, that she is in a previous life, she had requested from Lord Shiva 5 times for a husband. She didn't have a husband in her previous life, and she said she'd done austerities to Lord Shiva, and then Lord Shiva appeared before her, and when Lord Shiva asked, what boon do you want? She said, I want a husband, I want a husband, I want a husband, I want a husband, I want a husband. Like that. 5 times she said, I want a husband. Then Lord Shiva said, okay, in your next life you'll have 5 husbands. Not like that. I just want a husband. But he said that you asked 5 times, so you get 5 times. So actually, what it is that she's done so much of austerity. She developed the qualities, such great qualities of becoming a wife, that she could command 5 very powerful men. Yeah, that is the background of the story. So it just the pastime manifests in this way, that she asked 5 times, and then therefore she get 5 husbands. But actually, she was such a powerful lady that she could command 5 very powerful men. And what she cannot get in one single person, what these qualities, these 5 qualities which the Pandavas had, you cannot get in one single person. Yeah, because Yudhishthira, he was the personification of Dharma. Yeah, and then Bhima, he's the personification of like strength, and then Arjuna, he is the most, the skilled archer and the most skilled fighter. Then Nakula, I think he was considered to be the most handsome, and Sahadev was considered to be the most humble. So all these 5 qualities you cannot get in a single person. So she could command 5 of these great persons with these 5 great qualities up to the maximum. And so this is the glory of Draupadi. I don't know if that exactly answers your question. I don't know the history of if Sachi Devi, which is the wife of Lord Indra, if she was Draupadi. But this is generally how it's explained. Her previous life was like this. She was a devotee of Lord Shiva. She asked this boon.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I know we have past our hour, but there is still one burning question. Is it possible for you to take that? From
Yeah,
Panchali?
sure.
Panchali Mataji, kindly unmute and ask your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it's not a question, it's just a quick comment. And I do apologize because it's digressing a bit. At the moment, hearing about the glories of Draupadi, I just don't know whether I should feel ashamed about myself or just really, really happy that in some way I've got their blessings to be called Panchali, which is another name of Draupadi, because I used to be teased at the time. I didn't understand, but when I was young, I used to be teased quite a bit about having 5 husbands. Now that I know the reason for it, I mean, at the time I would just, answer to my school friends. When I was in India at the time, I didn't even know the story properly. But now understanding and knowing all the history, I just feel, I don't know if I should really feel ashamed that, I have I have so much to, I can't even live up to that because, just such a mere mortal with so many faults. But at the same time, feel blessed that, maybe just having her name is some kind of a blessing. But thank you for sharing her character with us today and explaining it further. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, certainly it's glorious to have the name of the Lord and his devotees. Yeah, without a doubt. So Panchali is another name, of course, of Srimati Draupadi. Panchal is the kingdom.
Yeah, my mum and dad named it because my mum's name is Krishna. So her name is also Draupadi. So so that's the reason they named me Panchali, which is another name of Draupadi.
So it runs in the family.
It runs in the family, yeah.
Yeah, names of Draupadi. So that's right. Panchal is the place where Draupadi is from. And so she is like the, the prime lady, the original Punjabi lady. Therefore, Panchali was her name. Yeah. Just like Gandhari, also another very powerful lady. But Gandhari, she got that name because she's from Gandhar, the place of Gandhar, which I believe is
in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan, yeah. So she's a Persian kind of descent she has.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments? There are no more questions or comments. Prahlad Prabhu, can I request you to kindly end the session? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. First, I would like to start off by thanking His Grace Sacinananda Karuna SB for giving us this very enlightening class and Zoom session today. Thank you, Prabhu, for joining in and giving us this wonderful nectar. I would also like to thank the devotees for joining into this Zoom session as well. So on behalf of ISKCON Eldoret, Prabhu, we would like to thank you. So I'd like to kindly request all the devotees assembled to kindly unmute yourselves and let's chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once for His Grace, Sacinananda Karuna SB. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo yo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai. Grace Sacinanda Karuna Prabhu ki.
Jai.
Gaur Pramanande.
Hari Hari.
Oh.
Thank you very much for having me. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Path Prabhuji. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. It's okay,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Path Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat.